So now we come to the final part of the CV, which would be more your languages and general information. In terms of language definition, here at ESA we have, a very simple framework, which is mother tongue. It's a language that you were brought up with because your parents spoke it. Fluent means that you spent a lot of time in that country, so you're able to speak that language fluently and really understand cultural nuances. Good is something that you might have learned at school or at university, but you're not necessarily at a fluent stage. And then basic means really basic. Now, what I've found in a lot of job processes is that people tend to overinflate the level of a language. And what you really need to take into account is that when you're in an interview, you're nervous, and your level of language might come down. So, and this is very important. You need to define your language at a lower level than you might be at. Simply because if you're in an interview, they say, okay, now let's talk in French, because you say that you speak, fluent French, and it happens to be good. It immediately instills a sense of suspicion in the recruiter, because they feel that you haven't told 100% truth on your CV, so maybe everything that's there is also not true. So it's much better to go conservative, state a lower language, and then surprise them with the fact that it's actually a lot better than what it is, than to do the contrary, because it might really work against you. And I can tell you specific examples in which that has happened. The people turning up in an interview saying that they speak Spanish and actually they don't, and the recruiter automatically discounting them from the process. Now, in terms of general information, this is actually a very important part of your CV. A lot of people feel, well, why should I be putting what my hobbies are, to a recruiter? But actually it's extremely important, and recruiters love this section, because all the other sections you did because you had to go to university and this is what you studied, and the things that you did professionally, you were paid to do them. Whereas in general information, these are a much better reflection of who you are as a person, than what you did as a professional, because you were paid to do that. So it is important to put, other aspects of your life. And recruiters tell me that people that don't put anything at all in this section, they feel actually, do they have a life? Are they emotionally stable people? Do they have other interests? Because they want people that can really enrich the workplace, and people that have a very uniform life worries them. And if you think about it, the type of things that you do outside work actually say an enormous amount of information about you. So if you work if you like team sports, you like working in a team, you like collaborating with others to achieve an objective. If you're a mountain climber, you're somebody who really, will suffer pain to get to the top, or a marathon runner. You're somebody who's really resilient, that you keep going until you get to the end. So, by all means, if you have interests outside work, put them in. If you want them to be really effective, go into a little bit of detail. So if you like reading, state what kind of books you like reading. If you like traveling, state what kind of travel you like doing, because just stating travel in itself, you're not going deeply enough so they can really pique their interests. Your career progresses, maybe you don't have enough space to put every internship that you've done, and this might be a place where you want to put additional internships, and especially if the type of internships that you've done are related in some way to the things that you're applying to. Any articles that you might have published, if you have a blog, any websites that you might have developed, any kind of information that really shows you as a very rounded character, by all means put them in this section as well. Now, that said, this section should not be, again, you're being hired as a professional. So the most important part of your CV is definitely the professional experience section. So this section shouldn't cover more than 20% of your CV, but it is a very important part of the CV. This is again an exercise that you'll have up on the platform. I don't say that you necessarily have to go through this, but what is very, very important on your CV is that you have it checked and rechecked and rechecked, because often you get so used to looking at a typo that you don't see it. So having somebody who speaks the language fluently, that can really help you say, hey, actually this is not well expressed, and can really detect those, spelling mistakes or typos, is very important. As I say, in certain sectors and certain recruiters will automatically discount a candidate for having a typo on their CV. So it's most important that you check it and check it again, because often you don't see these mistakes. So that's it. Please look at the assignments that we've given in terms of building your CV. So start completing those and look at the instructions for building your CV effectively. Thank you.